Hi everybody, thank you for joining us for this Design Trends 2025. I'm joined by our director Jane Entwistle. I'm in Tice. You've got myself, Emma Sunnerton, Senior Account Manager. You were promised Taylor and Simon, but they've actually been pulled off on a big project, so you've got us today. So we'll kick off. Thank you to those who previously attended our Design Trends webinars and other webinars we've done. They are the most well-attended webinars, so hopefully we've got some really interesting stuff to talk through with you today.
Thank you, Emma. Thanks for the intro. Design Trends is one that obviously excites me. Having started my career as a designer, I think we always love to see what's happening, what's emerging, what are we expecting to see continue in 2025. One thing I'll let you know from the start is we've deliberately avoided AI. I feel like obviously we know AI is continuing, it's a powerhouse, it's not going anywhere, but I feel like I've joined a lot of things lately and it's been a big focus around AI. So obviously that's going to be there, it's going to continue, but we pulled out 3 trends that we feel really strongly about that we're seeing brands are embracing and doing great things with. So let's kick off with number 1, which is bold and vibrant colour schemes. So I think 75% of users associate bold colours with innovative brands. So as a result of this, we've seen increased use of saturated colours in brands since refreshes since 2020. I think since the sort of doom and gloom of the pandemic, people are really looking to brands for positivity, upbeat, which can be in often many cases associated with bright, bold colours that we're seeing in a lot of brands that we see.
Bit of energy as well. I think one of the most controversial ones probably recently was the Jaguar rebrand. So yeah. We can't not talk about that. But yeah, I think when we see so many visuals every single day on our scroll, on our feed, on different social platforms. So actually to see colour coming back is great, really. And for, we're trying to introduce it to our clients again and excite them with new campaigns, which we'll talk about later on.
I think going back to the roots, obviously, we're talking about design as in web, digital, print, graphic design, but obviously we can't forget fashion is a huge influence on where colour is taken from. And again, some of the colours that you're looking at on your screen, you might think, I would never think to pair sort of that bright red, for example, with the turquoise. And this is why it is obviously having that design input. There's so many colours out there. So by saying bright and vibrant, bold colours, go for your life, you can obviously quite easily get it wrong. So over on the next slide, we talk about colour clashes.
I do love a bit of colour blocking, but there can be the wrong colour clashes, right?
Just slightly out on a hue can make such a massive difference to sort of what works and what's striking, and also the accessibility of colour, especially when you're viewing things on screen and you've got like a text on a coloured background. There might be colours that in a large block work really well together, but actually just can't physically
not readable. Right, text. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So having a bit of a deeper dive into some brands that are known for the bright, vibrant colours. Obviously couldn't forget Spotify with some of the playlists. Again, these are particularly bright, but actually they've almost developed their brand is green, but you kind of don't really associate them with any colour now because they use so many bright, vibrant colours.
Yeah, true. It's got a bit of like a cool 80s retro vibe in the colour as well. Yeah. I quite like that, which is like a trend also you've seen in fashion as well, like going back to the fashion feeding into kind of the trends in design.
So you might be wondering now, why are we looking at a black screen? You're talking to us about colour, but obviously Nike has been and continues to be one of the leading brands. And if you look at their campaign, this one on screen, the one on the next screen, they've been for the last few years, really very dark, moody, and about the strapline, about creating emotion, and really not very much about the product. So we have started to see a change with the latest trends. So on the next slide, you can see how Nike are starting to embrace colour, which is great, which is nice. It's not taken away from what they've done, but actually it is putting the product at the forefront, but it is using those colours, that strong design element, which has really reinforced the brand and works, in my opinion, really well. It definitely makes you feel a different emotion when you look at this compared to the...
Absolutely, because when I'm literally looking for a new pair of running trainers, I am really drawn to, like, whether it's Asics or Nike, I'm drawn to the bright shoe because I think they motivate you to get out. You've got something colourful. Like, I don't necessarily feel empowered to go for a run if I've got like a tan or a beige kind of running trainer. So I think it's really interesting. And a lot of the other brands, like going back to how they were presenting themselves previously, like Just Do It, the darker, more moody. You see a lot of brands like doing that now, like Huel, the kind of sports kind of protein drinks. They're all looking really samey. It's the black and white branding, and it's really dull, and you kind of don't know who you're looking at anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
So moving on to talk about colour, for one of our clients, just to talk about some work we've done recently, one of our clients, Zodec, they're like a B2B service-based invoice financing business, typically sort of, you know, not considered a very exciting industry. So our job is obviously to stand out in the marketplace. Feedback we've had from this campaign, going back to their Do It Your Way strapline, whether you're a startup recruitment business or an established business looking to switch to Zodec to use as a provider for invoice financing, we wanted to make them stand out, take them back to their kind of original campaign, doing it your way, but obviously using lots of colour. They have fed back to us that it's nothing like they've seen in their market, just trying to grab people's attention with this campaign. So I think it's worked really, really well.
I think what's nice about it is we're focusing less on the fact that they provide the finance service. That's a given. They're going to be experts in what they do, and they're focusing more on the person. People are individuals, and I think that's a nice way of expressing your individuality. On the next slide, so there's two options there. I'm a startup. So if you're starting a business, here's a guide. This could be you. Or on the next one, if you're established, again, it's just something bright. We want to move away from somebody sat with a stock image of a calculator working out their finances, and just bringing that colour, that brand recognition that makes you feel good, and hopefully wants to choose Zodec over another competitor.
Absolutely.
So there's a bit of a roundup on what we think is going to set to be continue as a trend. Bright colours, they're going nowhere. Just use them carefully. Make sure you have a design team that knows how to use colours, know what colours complement each other, and evokes the correct emotions. I think also it's being mindful, if you are globally promoting your services, colouring products, just remember that colours do have different meanings in different cultures as well.
Great shout, actually. Yeah, really good shout. And also sometimes use colour, like you say, if you're not using a design team, you can almost cheapen your brand by using the wrong colour. So it's having that expert advice and opinion on what colour palette suits your kind of business.
And don't get started on football teams, because there's all the different politics involved with choosing colour.
Yeah.
So second trend, where this is our number 2 of 3, is sustainable and eco-friendly design. So I think it's not optional anymore to be considering being sustainable, looking at a purpose behind your brand, and really, obviously, your product's got to be good, your service has got to be good, that's a given. But people are really starting to look at how they can show that they are more than that. So whether it's encouraging people to buy their brand, engage in the brand, or come and work for the company, then it's important to show that there's a purpose.
Yeah, I was going to say it's really important in like talent attraction and retention and recruitment as well, you know, giving that message and how you deliver that visually.
So I think it's no shock that 73% of consumers would prefer to choose a brand that's sustainable. I'm surprised it's not higher.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's in all cases the primary decision making. I think you go with a brand that you like, but then when you've got the choice there and they're showing that they do good things as well, then ultimately it makes your life. It's that kind of tick box part of the process. So again, looking to where designers have taken inspiration from, I think we've really started to see a change in architecture over the last few years with the kind of eco living, looking at how buildings can do more, be better. They're taking up large spaces, so how can we be more green? And again, I think it's really an opportunity for designers from the inception of an idea through to what type of material you're printing on, to think about how you can be as sustainable as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I love seeing things like businesses now, and when they're thinking about designing their buildings and their signage, you know, considering like incorporating living walls and rooftop spaces. They're looking at everywhere they can possibly use, and colours, and how they can really maximise that space and potential, like you say.
And again, taking inspiration from fashion. I love the fact now when you buy a coat, you don't have the one line for this coat belongs to whoever. You've got your 3 lines. It's encouraged now. It's almost cool to pass it on.
I'm a big advocate for kind of hiring clothes. So if we go to any work event, I will use brands like Higher Street or Her, any kind of B Corp brand. I like to support kind of circular economy, and those brands are doing it really, really well. And like James said, it's almost like not frowned upon now, that kind of hand-me-down kind of culture and this, supporting the circular economy.
So this leads us on to 2025 Pantone of the Year, which again is really, in our opinion, hinting at this kind of earthy, natural sustainability. It's called Mocha Mousse, but it does look quite earthy, natural soils. We can see that edible. This is it's either edible or it's sustainable. So yeah, we're definitely starting to see that coming through. And then I think what is nice to see, really, again, along these lines, is how brands are not just focusing on their product. So Patagonia is outdoor clothes predominantly, but if you look at some of the ads on screen, it's more about we've got your back, which can work both ways. We've got your back because we're putting clothes on it, but also we're doing our bit for the planet, protect your playground. So it's almost like this purpose beyond the product is becoming their shining light.
Definitely, yeah.
Then IKEA as well. I think IKEA is predominantly known for being like the fast fashion version of furniture, but actually they're starting to encourage people now to recycle furniture, give back, reuse it again if there's still life in things. And actually this is where this kind of, we are seeing a lot of green. I'm on trend today in my green.
It's great because they're almost attracting that other consumer that they were kind of missing, the people that think that IKEA is just MDF and it's just all throwaway. Like you say, they're kind of bringing this element in and this scheme to almost bring that other consumer back into the stores.
And then I love this example from Method. I think this is really combining the two design trends that we've touched on so far. So if you think about what Method are, they're a cleaning product, which is a liquid, which is like water really, and it is a saturated market. So they've gone with the bright and colourful because it is a product with no colour, and they've gone with the purpose. They've got drag queens. They talk about look good, do better. So it really is something that's given them a bold, characterful by using strong trends but doing it in a consistent brand way.
And it is drawing on a big theme because like RuPaul's Drag Race and things like that has not gone away. It's just growing from strength to strength. So obviously playing on that, it's super popular. Then using that in the brand and the colours and everything, I just love it.
So that brings us on to our third and final design trend, which is 3D design and animation. So we've seen a lot of this, obviously, and it's, in our opinion, continuing to evolve. Unless you were hiding under a rock, you will have known that Wallace and Gromit brought out a new film over Christmas. I know I've got a 7-year-old boy. I've watched it about 10 times. But I think it's brought to life, really, animation and the craft around, like, these... You've got such an emotional connection. Well, I have now, having watched it so many times with these characters. And I think sometimes just taking it away from real life people, which can be in some instances a little bit cheesy, you can really build that nice bond with an animated character. Yeah,
definitely.
So on this example that we pulled together here, which will hopefully play, is I think
when you share a hotel room with your kid, you also share a bedtime with your kid.
So their whole message is around, you could be stuck confined in a hotel room, which looks very Premier Inn.
But if you get an Airbnb, you get to pick your own bedtime.
And that
and I think as well, by using that kind of animation element, you know, you've got kids kind of, they're captured immediately if they're in the kitchen, the telly comes on, there's animation. You look at the TV when your kids look at the TV if they're drawn to something. So I think like bringing childness and playfulness back into advertising and kind of
it's like it's entertaining, isn't it? As well.
Absolutely.
And then the rollout of it, so through graphics that you see on social when you haven't got the animation but you've still got that 3D concept, it creates really nice graphics that can be reused in print, etc. I think they've done a nice job.
Lovely.
And then this campaign, potentially not last year, the year before, that Maybelline has done with mascara. So actually done. So they've mocked up a massive mascara. They've made it look like this bus has gone through it, but they've been really clever with their application. They've got some influencers to say, look what I've just seen in London. The campaign went viral, went massive. So again, I think bearing in mind the last trend, the sustainability, they haven't gone and produced this. And they've got their traction through digital.
Very true.
Been clever.
That is clever. And a real life location that everybody recognises as well.
And people probably did go and see it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, where is it?
So that brings us to the end of our trends. So to recap, what we have been seeing and what we think is going to be strong and continue throughout 2025 is bright and vibrant colour schemes. We're going to see more of companies talking about what they're doing, even if it's a small part, what are they doing for their sustainability, their environment, their purpose. Then the use of 3D design and animation. As with all trends, we do sort of say it's got to be taken, like you've got to evolve it. You don't want to take a trend and copy what everyone else is doing, because I think we do risk becoming like this.
Looking like a clone, exactly. There are some amazing trends out there, but as you'll see from the likes of TikTok or Reels on Facebook and Instagram, they're being replicated. It's like this rinse and repeat type thing that's actually becoming really bland, and people are dancing to the same songs and they're all, recreating the same videos, for example. So, we like to, for our clients, look at their brand as a whole and really come up with like a story and something that would work for them. So it's always best to consult your design team.
Yeah, absolutely. that storytelling is absolutely right.
Yeah,
I think it's having the messaging and purpose. So I hope that's given you something to think about. Feel free to leave any comments. We will be on hand. We will be getting back to people. And if there's any campaigns that you've seen that are featuring any of these trends, or if there's any other trends that you think are going to be big for 2025, then we're all ears.
Let us know.
Thanks very much.
See you on the next one.
Yeah, see you all soon.